Just tell me when.
When?
Welcome, everybody. This isn't the start of the show, but we're about 5 minutes out, so this is the pregame warm-up. The missus is doing her final technical calibrations while I'm getting ready to open a beer. That's what I do. So if you have a beer, I'd suggest you relax and have one. And if you want to skip to the show itself rather than this mindless prattle,
Prattle.
feel free to skip ahead about
Prattler.
4 or 5 minutes. Yep, the prattler. It's a good day, I think. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And yourself, the missus?
It's fine. I'm eating my hamburger.
Oh, is it just a regular hamburger or is it a cheeseburger?
It is a bacon cheeseburger.
Those are the bestest.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now I'm live there. If I mute that, then I go there. And then I can welcome anyone into chat. And now I can go, hello. All right, so chat's kicked off. That's good. That's good. I've got my words, those magical words up in front. I've got the paper for the paper parts.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
There you go. Can we have some massive cannibalism?
Yes, we can.
Massive cannibalism.
That always felt that sounder should have like a something behind it. Like
the massive cannibalism thing?
Yeah, like a little bit of music bed.
Unfortunately, all too often on this site that I use for my soundboard, it does have that annoying music behind it. It's always really loud.
Kind of a bright and happy dance tune. No, and we got some more folks showing up. And thankfully, I have more beer in the freezer. So if I'm quiet for just a second, it's because I'm getting a beer.
You're not very quiet.
Not at all. And if you want to play along in the home game, this is Fat Tire Ale. So you can have a Fat Tire Ale and drink just like the pros. It says it's low carbon impact, so that means I hate it, but it's still tasty. Oh, and ta-da, Hito is there. And ta-da, Hito notes. We should add the smoke detector chirp to the soundboard. And Matt Dunlap says, hola.
The smoke detector what?
Smoke detector chirp.
Oh, let's see if I can find that.
Even better if you could get Neil deGrasse Tyson doing an AI voice. I don't know what the chirp is, but I can predict it. I can give you its volume, and I can give you its shape, and that's all we need, because that's science.
You hear something?
It sounds like a ping.
It does. It sounds like a submarine.
And Mark has joined us, once again, just right in time. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
So what's our time left?
Oh, I moved the thing. Hang on. Oh my god, we have 45 seconds.
45 amazing seconds. It's almost like anticipation. It's like Christmas waiting to happen. So you had to set the chirp to play like every 2 minutes, just in the background. Chirp. Oh, that'll be Jordan Peele.
Find it.
That'll be Jordan Peele's next movie. Chirp.
How did I lose that?
I don't know. I don't drive this bus.
Because I have to refresh the page.
And they can make a horror movie of it.
Yes.
Just imagine it, a writer and his family in an isolated hotel during the wintertime, and there's a trying to write his grand novel, and there's a chirp every 30 seconds, and it drives him mad. I
Well,
don't know. Maybe not.
it
Maybe
could
not
start.
original, but
It could star Jack Nicholson. It could be the chirping, the chirping.
And by
It's
the
8
way,
o'clock.
boys, we got movie sign.
Got movies.
Bants and Bants. Bants and Bants.
All systems go.
Bants and Bants.
Defiance.
Bants and Bants.
This rebel has a cause.
Bombs and Bants.
We begin as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Welcome everyone to the 105th live edition of Bombs and Bants and Wednesday Rants. As always, I'm your dedicated and humble host, John Wilder, coming to you from the penthouse control room of the majestic Wilder Industries skyscraper. With me, as always, is Mark.
hey, how's everyone doing?
And the missus ensconced in her deep bunker at an
Eating a
undisclosed
hamburger.
location.
Yes.
Eating a hamburger.
Well, bacon cheeseburger. I mean,
It's
we're not
Sonic.
savages here.
Not
It is
savages.
Sonic.
Yes, I made dinner for Pugsley and I, and these were hamburgers of unusual size. They were quite large.
They were very large.
It was 3/4 of a pound of beef in each hamburger, so it's an unusual size.
Because you made 3 hamburgers out of the thing I bought to make meatloaf out of.
3 hamburgers out of 2.25 pounds of meat. Yes, and it was glorious. How was your weekend, Mark?
It was fine. It's sort of rainy. Didn't really do much.
They did something. There was something unique, something fun.
No, not really.
This is how about you?
Me? No, I just have not been sleeping very much this week. It's been a busy week.
So
I was
I'm
very
going
happy
on
with myself because I got home about an hour or half an hour earlier than I planned to tonight, so I had more time to put the podcast together. So I was happy about
Yep.
that. I do have funnies to start off too. Would you like to see some funnies?
Well, go forth and conquer because
All
you're
right.
going to play them no matter what because you've got the
Exactly.
microphone and you
Exactly.
can just
I can just mute you at any time.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So here's our first one. It's visual.
I like it.
Okay.
I've seen that before.
It's an oldie, but it checks out, sir.
Mhm.
And
It's
then
an
I
old
like this
code.
one. This has been me this week.
Indeed.
So that's where I am.
You only have 2?
I just have to. Yeah.
Okay. I was expecting an even half dozen.
Facebook was not particularly funny this week.
Well, let's see. I got one question, and
Yeah.
this is not the time for it, but did you make the Conversation Street sounder?
I did not. I haven't had time.
Okay. Well, let's just kick off to the IRS is well known for chasing down tax cheats. But what happens when it's the IRS that's cheating? The Wall Street Journal's Newsbot explains.
The Internal Revenue Service makes clear that taxpayers who willfully conceal or alter tax documents risk severe penalties. But what happens when government auditors are caught manipulating documents and hiding those actions in court? The IRS this month agreed to settle and drop a penalty in Lake Point Land 2 LLC v. Commissioner. A judge in U.S. tax court had sanctioned the IRS in the case, ripping the agency's counsel for acting in bad faith and having multiplied the proceedings in this case unreasonably and vexatiously by failing to tell the court that documents it used to assess a penalty had been backdated.
So let's go through what happened. Federal tax code requires an IRS supervisor signature upon approval of assessment of a penalty. However, in the 2016 Lake Point case, that didn't happen, and the company had the emails to prove it. The mistake was caught in 2017, and the supervisor dated her signature 7 months earlier.
And
She
it was a
cheated.
case in which they assessed a penalty. And how big was the penalty?
15 million American dollars.
$15 million.
That is almost enough money to fill your car with gasoline in California.
It's almost
So-
enough money to pay off a Biden. Oh,
No, because there's 10% for the big guy.
you're right.
Not only is there
You're
proof the
right.
agency did this, and in 3 other cases, they then proceeded to lie in court about it. And who's going to jail? Please tell me. Who's someone?
Nobody.
No one.
No.
Absolutely no one. It was just a
So-
mistake.
Mm-hmm. It was
Well,
just-
and from what that was saying, I mean, it isn't just the agent backdated it and concealed it. The court, from what it was reporting, it sounds like the court was saying the attorney for the IRS also knew it was backdated and still misrepresented to the court.
Yeah, that was absolutely the case. Mm-hmm.
So, although I wouldn't expect any better from our illustrious U.S. attorney's offices.
and the thing that kind of gets me is I'm thinking that, so why did they do this? To get like a pencil eraser and maybe like a certificate that came out of a printer. So they're willfully torturing Americans just to get office crap. Oh, I got a squeeze ball and a mug that says Employee of the Week.
They don't care. I mean, it's not their money, right?
Ooh, finger traps.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what we didn't give? Well, maybe we did give them pumpkin spice.
Oh, I love this time of year. The weather's cooling off. I can finally take the kids to the park without baking in the sun. The holidays are just around the corner. Life just doesn't get any better.
But, Sue, you're forgetting the best part of autumn.
I am? What have I forgotten, Mr. Announcer Voice?
It's also pumpkin spice season.
No offense, but I don't really drink coffee, Mr. Announcer Voice.
Oh, it's much more than coffee. You can get pumpkin spice frappuccinos, pumpkin spice hot chocolate,
I
pumpkin
don't
spice
really
hot tea,
like pumpkin
spice soda, pumpkin spice milk, pumpkin spice apple juice,
I
pumpkin
said,
spice whiskey,
I don't really
pumpkin
like
spice
pumpkin
Kool-Aid,
spice.
pumpkin spice milkshakes, pumpkin spice martinis, pumpkin spice... Wait. What?
I don't like pumpkin spice?
Well, it's October, Missy, so you'd better change your tune.
Pumpkin spice. It's everywhere.
The horror of pumpkin
spice,
spice.
baby, too cold. Pumpkin spice baby, too cold. All right, I'll stop that like forever.
Please.
You may have heard the Democrat representative from Texas, Henry Cuellar, got carjacked. Is Cuellar?
Quayar.
Is it Cuellar?
It is Quayar, yes.
Cuellar. What a Cuellar idea. Got carjacked in D.C. Just scant yards from the U.S. Capitol. It's insurrection, I say. Whose fault is that? If you ask the White House, it's Republicans. Here's White House dog washer, Karine Jean-Claude Van Damme, sparring with Fox News's Peter Doocy.
This is something that the president has done, and Republicans have not helped. And I know you have. I know you're going to follow up on that. What's your question?
Well, the first follow-up would be, how are you going to blame Republicans for this? Isn't D.C. run by a bunch of Democrats?
I'm going to speak to what the president has done, right? The president has been very, very straightforward about what he has done to make sure that communities are safe. American Rescue Plan, not one Republican in Congress voted for it. Not one. There were billions of dollars in that plan, in that act, to make sure communities across the country got funding so that they can indeed hire more police officers so that they can keep their communities safe. Republicans had nothing to do with that.
Billions of dollars because Democrats are so pro-cop and pro-law enforcement.
Yes, I thought they wanted to fund the police. I thought that was the Democrat slogan was.
I have a crazy idea. How about the federal government stop taxing us so much, and then maybe the local governments can, the areas that actually need it can raise their taxes to hire police.
Why? Why would they do that? And then
it's just a crazy idea. I think they used to call it federalism. I don't know. Just crazy.
We were just talking about this the other night. So if you have never gone to a local meeting of a political entity, let's say your city council meeting, something like that, you go. One thing you're going to notice is they rubber stamp pretty much everything that comes before them, so it's always going to be approved. And B, everything locally runs on grant money. Anything that a municipality needs to do, they're going to find grant money for. Okay, somewhere. And so Wilder and I were talking about this earlier, and I said, it was just what Mark said. If the federal government would stop taking so much of our money, municipalities wouldn't have to rely on grant money because it would be there in the tax base, so they could use it locally for things the local municipality needs.
Or,
crazy, right?
Even better, they wouldn't have money to do stuff that the local taxpayers don't want them to do.
That too.
I mean, really, that's the whole purpose of grant money, is to, allow the federal government to get its tentacles into everything, and the local governments love it because they don't have to, answer to their constituents about it.
And they don't have to be the bad guy because they don't have to charge, they don't have to collect taxes.
You're saying it's so that the government can rub its testicles all over everything.
I'm sorry, what?
Pretty much.
The tentacles. Sorry, tentacles.
Tentacles with an N.
We know that Hunter Biden would rub them all over. Probably snort coke off of them.
Recent surveys of men under 30, and let's just dive right into sex, show that 60% of them are single, and that relationships and sexual intimacy are at an all-time low. Many people want to blame social media and porn, but it might be stories like what happened to 32-year-old Trevor Bauer. Trevor is a professional baseball player currently playing in Japan. He used to play for the Dodgers. In fact, he won the Cy Young Award in 2020 until he was accused of a very violent rape in June by this woman.
That's June 2021.
Yep. By this woman, Lindsay Hill.
That's the wrong side. But nope.
Looks sort of like him. Oh, there we are.
There we go.
Bauer was suspended by Major League Baseball for more than 300 games just based on her accusation. But now the case is settled, and he's speaking out.
So here he is on Twitter yesterday.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsay Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you 50,000, Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied.
Okay, so to kind of go over all of what happened here. So this is, I'll get to this picture that's up right now.
You need to. I don't think you need to.
It's worse. It's worse than just even he's talked about. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So this picture here on your right is the picture that she released after she accused him of rape. This picture on the left was withheld by the prosecution. They had this video. She is making a video here. This is a still from the video. She is lying in bed. To her right in the video is Trevor Bauer, asleep in bed next to her. The morning after she claimed the thing that is on the right of your screen happened to her. You can see nothing wrong with her. Now, Bauer did say that at her request, they did engage in some kind of rough shenanigans. But she asked him to. And of course, the reason is that she wanted the result, which is what here on your right, because she wanted his money.
And how did that turn out then?
Well, he slapped a defamation lawsuit against her. And so she countersued him. And then her lawyers came to her came to his lawyers with several deals. And he said, there is not one way this woman is getting a cent of my money. And so the final deal that came out that they settled yesterday was, okay, we'll drop our lawsuit if you drop your lawsuit. And then this all goes away. And his biggest thing from this is that he said, but also, I want to talk about this. Because he was a Cy Young winner. But this came out the Dodgers suspended him for 324 games as soon as this came out. Now, they later dropped that back to 194 games, but by then, his name was being readily dragged through the mud. They cut him, which is why he's now playing baseball in Japan. He also has filed another lawsuit against a sports website, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, and one of the writers for that website who claimed that he had fractured that girl's skull, which nowhere in any of the medical reports that came out about this was that anywhere in there. So it was just to pour kerosene on this fire and ruin that man's career.
Oh, karma.
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 And, you're talking about the IRS. What's going to happen to the IRS? What's going to happen to her? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing.
I'm just going to stop right here because I'm going to violate Google's terms and conditions if I say any words here. So I'm moving along to guess what's back.
Okay. We can get off that very inflammatory story.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done with it. We all know there's no one listening to this that isn't angry, viscerally,
right?
At that.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to know why young men are not engaging in relationships, that right there is why.
Guess what's back? The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Newsbot, that's your cue.
Just 4 months after announcing that the hot dog-shaped Wienermobile was changing its name to the Frankmobile, the distinctive Wiener on wheels is reverting to the original Oscar Mayer, which has several of the vehicles, recently via Instagram that the Frankmobile is toast. The Wienermobile rides again. The name change announced by the Kraft Heinz company in May was meant to pay homage to the brand's 100% beef Franks and their new recipe. For fans of the original name, the change was, frankly, ridiculous. Oscar Mayer was headquartered in the Wisconsin capital, Madison, for nearly 100 years before it moved to Chicago in 2015. The first Wienermobile was created in 1936, and it has gone through several iterations since then. Those who drive Wienermobiles around to promotional events are known as hot doggers. Perhaps the most famous hot dogger is former U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan, who drove a Wienermobile one summer while in college.
You know, I should have a hot dog joke, but I don't.
The Newsbot kind of had you covered for that.
Yeah. And the Wienermobile.
Yeah. Well, the Newsbot isn't terribly bright. He tries, not terribly bright.
Jim Wetzel notes, frankly, ridiculous.
It's the worst.
Okay, everybody stop. Everybody stop.
And then we have Paul Ryan driving the Wienermobile. Look, it's a wiener driving a Wienermobile.
Okay. Still can't get off that third story. So
I know it's horrible, isn't it?
Let's take it to AOC.
Well, and by the way, so this has been a very popular.
Speaking of wieners.
Yes, speaking of wieners. No, that'd be the vice president.
Yeah. I don't even want
to. Yeah.
She might.
That was the Newsbot was slow on the uptake there with her wiener shot.
She knows how to ride a wiener. Is that what you're saying?
Well.
She likes to eat hot dogs.
Yeah, that would be more where I was probably going to go.
All right.
Exactly.
So this is the previously unreleased version of OAOC, that big boutique.
Yes. The version that is up on our YouTube channel and that we have played before here on the podcast is the NPC version. Okay, that's the NPC band. This is the original version of the song. Here we go.
So big, that big booty, it's what I dig. She kills babies, but so what? Cause that booty is so hot. Oh, wait, oh, see, it should be just you and me. We won't talk politics, because I know you'll really like the big budgets. And healthcare, paid by the government. Cause you're a commie, can I call you mommy?
there you have it. Good job, the missus.
Previously unreleased material.
All right. That brings us to
This is Neil Young.
Hey, get that jackass out of here!
And I'm proud to present my braying jackass of the week.
we may have found a U.S. representative from New York who is actually dumber than AOC. Representative Jamal Bowman pulled a fire alarm in the House on Saturday afternoon just before the House was going to vote on a spending bill. Treasonous conspiracy theorists who are a threat to our democracy say he did it purposely to delay the vote. He said he did it on accident. Here's ABC News 7, New York, with Bowman's statement.
Today, I was rushing to make a vote. I came to a door that is usually open for votes, but today would not open. I'm embarrassed to admit that I activated the fire alarm, mistakenly thinking it would open the door. I regret this, sincerely apologize for any confusion this caused, but I want to be very clear, this was not me in any way trying to delay any vote.
And I've seen a picture of the fire alarm, which looks as a fire alarm and says, if you pull this, the fire alarm will sound. It doesn't say, I'm going to open the door. It says,
so I did a little research, actually, and I found a picture of what normally you think a fire alarm looked like, right? This is it on the screen. Fire, pull this to make it go off. However, the fire alarms in congressional buildings are a little bit different, and I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's some legal purpose behind it. They actually look like this one.
might open door. Hey, it's time for a chirp.
Oh, I gotta find it. I lost it. It ran away.
His voice? Unlikely. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for the chirp. It's a bit. That's number one. Okay, so number one is Jamal Bowman. Our candidate number two for Jackass of the Week is, well, it's a banner day for the House, as our second nominee is from Massachusetts, 7th District. It's representative versus representative. This one is Representative Ayanna Pressley. Come on down. Here she is speaking with Jake Tapper on CNN's The Lead.
Well, I certainly disagree with any people, and certainly our most vulnerable, who are fleeing great destabilization and violence and corruption from being used as political pawns. No doubt about it, our border is secure, and we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and we have to fix a broken system.
Wait,
and we also
you think it is secure? You think the border is secure, or it is not secure?
I believe that we are in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and there needs to be federal investment.
Okay, so that's take one. This was like a 10-minute interview that he did with her. This next one is a supercut, because every time he comes in, to his credit, I mean, he is a mainstream media guy working for CNN, but he was not letting her off the hook on this much. Here it is. You be the judge. This is a little bit longer cut.
Sure, I don't disagree with this being a humanitarian crisis at all, but just to get some clarity on this, and sure, that's a conversation for another day, but do you think that the border is secure? Is that what you said?
Yes, the border is secure.
But if you have millions of undocumented migrants coming into the country, how is the border secure?
Jake, this is not a new crisis. It does require more political will.
And not just try to cross illegally. But it just seems like
I'm going to have to stop you. And the reason is, it's going to be more of this. And
yeah, that's my point. He kept coming back to that, but then he would let her go, and she just kept saying the same thing over and over, which is what she said in the first clip. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is not the time to have this conversation. The border is secure.
All right, folks. So what we need now is if you're out there listening, please go for number one, the base door enjoyer, Jamal Bowman.
And I think what he's saying in this particular picture is, I was that far away from the fire alarm when I ripped all the warning signs off the wall. He did that in the video. He ripped all the signs that says, don't touch this. It's a fire alarm. Ripped them all off the wall.
Can't touch this.
I know it was an accident.
Yep. And so then we also have So number one, feel free to sing out in the comments if you like number one, Jamal Bowman, fire alarm enjoyer, or number two,
fecal matter.
Ayanna Presley, flat out liar. Who, yeah. So Mark, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, both of them are outright liars.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with number one because he's a dangerous insurrectionist, interfering with the business of Congress.
An official act of Congress. He should be in jail.
He should.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. He should be.
Matt's voting for number three, all of the above. You can't vote for number three. So you're voting for Mark?
Number one.
Number one. Yes, that's exactly what we're seeing with the audience. Jim votes for number one. Tadano Hito votes for number one. Matt votes for number one. My vote is thereby irrelevant. Therefore, Jamal Bowman, congratulations. You are the jackass of the week.
Where'd it go? And this has been Neil Young's Brain Jackass of the Week.
You know, we ought to just start printing certificates and sending them to them.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think we're at that point. Oh, man. This is just
but then you'll get audited by the IRS.
No, you'll just get thrown in jail for subverting democracy. Oh, speaking of which, hey, you remember those three Tennessee
Don't worry, they'll backdate everything.
I know,
Make
yeah.
Sure that it's clear.
Those three Tennessee lawmakers, the two of them that got kicked out in the state legislature in Tennessee.
Yes.
One of them is suing the speaker of the, or whatever, the head of the Senate, whatever they have in Tennessee, I'm not really sure. But he's suing that person for violating his free speech rights. So apparently, we can all just go to Tennessee, storm the floor of the legislature in Tennessee, and just say whatever we want because it's our free speech rights.
Well, now we know.
Wait. I know some people who did that who are going to prison for 30 years. I wonder what the difference might be. Any ideas?
All right. None that I know of. Not at all.
It's weird.
Willie Cully notes bald-headed liars.
I know. They both had the same haircut, too. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Are we ready to take a stroll down Conversation Street?
Okay.
But you don't have a sounder for it, so...
No, I don't. I've been busy. Have you missed that? Have you missed the fact that I just really haven't been here all week?
Everyone pretend there's been some really cool jazz with a lot of bass and a nice bass line bringing us... And a British man saying, and now welcome to Conversation Street. Because that's what it'll be next.
See, and I'm just kind of bothered by the fact that you just want to blatantly rip off the Grand Tour.
Yes.
What the hell is going on?
So, all right. So the first thing I'm throw out here.
Here, is this good enough music for you?
Hammond!
You can pretend that's your sounder this week.
Okay. Yep. All right. So, Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever it is, begs Biden to fast track jobs for illegals, but she's called in the New York National Guard to help with migrants. And who does she blame for the crisis? Who does she blame for the crisis of the illegals in the country? The invaders?
I'm going to say it's Republicans' fault. Am I right?
You are. Mark, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think she's full of something. Fecal matter.
Oh. Johnny, what do you say?
Fecal matter.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Christopher Wright, a father of three, was murdered on his way to a high school reunion by a man with 66 prior arrests. Shocking. You'll never hear about that in the news because someone said something mean to someone. So,
well, the fact that we're not going to hear about it in the news, can we play guess the ethnicity of those two people?
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Let's see. Hungary says that his country is
everyone knows it.
His country is no longer going to fund an endless war in Ukraine, and or allow gender ideology in school. So, Hungary, if you're looking for places that are maybe kind of cool, there's maybe Hungary.
Well, we're boned.
Thoughts on that one there, Mark? The missus?
You know, there was this guy named Huntington that wrote a book called The Clash of Civilizations, and he sort of thought that in Eastern Europe the demarcation was going to be between essentially religious, with the more Catholic type nations, that were originally Catholic anyway, on one side and the Orthodox on the other, and sort of drawing a line through there. He even predicted that Ukraine would become a flashpoint. And he wrote this book back in the mid 90s. And, I think he's right, except that the demarcation of religions really is more Orthodox versus depraved and, twisted and perverted.
Well, and also, did you hear that the Ukrainians are considering suspending their national elections because they're at war, and it just wouldn't be right to vote while they're at war.
Yeah, there won't be anyone around to vote anyway.
That's true.
They're looking at now starting to draft people over 60, which sort of tells me they're running out of cannon fodder.
And women are now involved. Yep. Okay.
Oh gosh.
The apparently the Biden's dog Commander has had his teeth on more people than Kamala Harris during this administration. So, just
he's bitten someone again.
Yeah. Yes.
There is a lot of self-control for the people that he's bitten, that they haven't just killed the thing.
Well, it's not like Biden remembers any of the bites, so.
Well, maybe he wouldn't remember if the dog disappeared.
Right. Oh, New York City Mayor Eric Adams is getting on a plane and is making his way to the border. I'm sure he'll solve the problem.
I thought Kamala was on that.
I don't know.
Wasn't that her job to get to the root causes of illegal migration? And it was the fact that we haven't sent enough in foreign aid to those South American countries?
That could be it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good stroll down Conversation Street for tonight. Do we have a music outro?
No, we don't. I was pretty clear about that. I was pretty clear about
How about
that.
just massive cannibalism?
There you go. That's the way to get out of anything. And actually, that is the way out of anything. It's
massive cannibalism.
Yes.
I hit return to say, okay. All right. But you know what time it is? Time for.
Think real fast.
And we do have a sounder for that. If it happens, the vote will be a squeaker. But Donald Trump has been nominated as a speaker of the House, that is. Democrats are reacting like a meteor is impacting. Mark, do you think that Rachel Maddow secretly loves Trump?
Oh, yeah. I think they all do.
The missus, if he is elected as speaker, do you think he would wear cool dresses like Nancy Pelosi and rip up papers during the State of the Union?
I think he should totally wear dresses, because then he can say about any criticism of him, it's because the Democrats are being transphobic. I think that's a fantastic plan.
There you go. A New York City SJW activist named Ryan was stabbed to death and did some dying while his girlfriend looked on. Mark, is it odd that his girlfriend had a new $60,000 Volvo with a license plate that said K Marks, M-A-R-X?
Yeah. To be honest, this is going to sound horrible to everyone, but when I saw that story this morning about that guy and what type of person he was, I just sort of had to smile.
Well, we're not done with the subject yet. The missus, do you think she's already found another dude?
Wait, that was a dude?
No. Yeah, I know,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Oh, very good. Very good comeback. I could also repeat this for Philly and Baltimore and Mark, do you think they're pulling the useful idiots off the table?
Well, you get what you vote for.
No, yeah, that's exactly the thing. I mean, they are experiencing the diversity and the police reform and everything that they wanted. I hope that more of them get to experience it.
The missus, do you think that alternately this could just be some sort of weird publicity drive because no press is bad press?
It's probably probably Republicans' fault. No, actually, what were they? I know what they were expecting. What they were expecting is that the gangs would go out to the rural areas and kill all the Republican voters. That's what they were hoping for. What they didn't realize, it's a lot easier just to go 2 or 3 neighborhoods over to the really rich part of town because those people have more money. And also the people in the rural areas have guns and they tend to use them.
Yep. Okay. So you don't think it's a publicity stunt?
No, I don't think so. I think it's backfiring on them.
Literally. China was being sneaky and lost a submarine in the DP. Rumors are that it got caught in a trap intended for United States submarines operating in that area. Mark, does this prove that China buys from Acme and is chasing Roadrunner?
I think so. You know, I mean, let's be honest. You know, if you want quality tools and equipment, you always buy like something that's made in Europe or something that's made in the U.S. You never, or Japan or something. You don't go thinking, oh yeah, I want a nuclear attack submarine made in China, and so.
Always remember the apex predator in China is an escalator.
That's
true.
No,
no surprise, and it wasn't. And the reality is, it wasn't even the fact that the submarine got caught in the trap. It was that their air scrubbers broke down and it poisoned the crew. I guess maybe they had extra filters, but they were round and they had to fit into a square box. I don't know.
Well, they just keep having problems with the screen doors.
Oh, all right. The missus, is this really the fault of systemic racism?
Absolutely, it is. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Next, we're gonna find out that Dr. Fauci has stock in Chinese submarine companies. It was not my problem. How was I to know?
Oh, the Chinese will be fine. I'm sure they'll get a grant from the U.S. to build another one.
According to Newsweek, we've reached a new peak and created a new extremist category. Is it Antifa? No. Mark, why is it always MAGA?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because a guy calling himself the chief operating officer of Antifa got stabbed to death in New York.
The missus think the red hats will be all the rage on the cattle cars?
What?
I like turtles.
All right. Well,
I was a little confused by the question.
That is a liberal wet dream, though. They would love to see all the MAGA people in those cattle cars hauled off to some concentration camp and gassed. I mean, the idea of it just makes them squirm and squeal with delight.
See, here's how they face that. They go, wouldn't that be a dream come true? I mean, that's awful and terrible that people would do that. I mean, look at Hitler. He was so bad, such a bad guy. I can't believe they did it to all those Jewish people. It was so bad. But, wouldn't it be great if we could do that to our enemies? I mean, I'd never do it, of course, but do you think you could make that happen for us? Really? That's terrible. It's terrible.
If Hitler had been a communist and he'd been doing that to people that lived in, the Nebraska, he'd be a hero to the left.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
they just talk about how that was not real communism. It's never been tried, and what they mean by that is it's because I wasn't the one in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to move you along.
You've lost control of this.
Yes,
you've lost
Russians.
control.
Russians are spending while the United States is sending billions. Russia is spending 29% of its federal budget on the military next year, totaling $109 billion, which I believe is enough to buy 6 F-35 planes. Mark, why can't we give Ukraine $110 billion?
I just want to see the war get over with. Maybe we should give the billions to Russia.
There you go. The missus. Does this mean Ukraine can fight to the last Ukrainian?
I think that's the plan. And with what Mark said, I was kind of against the money for the Ukraine to begin with. Because again, if we had given them nothing, the Russians would have won this pretty quickly. There would be a lot fewer dead Russians and a lot fewer dead Ukrainians. There might actually be people in the Ukraine at the end of this. But, at the rate they're going.
All right. Today, all the phones did beep, so President Biden could send us a tweet. Mark, where were you when the emergency broadcast system told us to do nothing?
I was actually in the break room trying to heat up my lunch when this annoying shriek arose from my phone. So I immediately shut it off without looking at it because I thought that it was an Amber Alert for another 78-year-old or 80-year-old guy wandering around. And then I heard it coming, from other people's phones, but nobody else actually paid much attention to it. So
there you go. And
it did. It's the exact same. It was the exact same noise as an Amber Alert. So
tell us you were heating up lasagna and not human flesh, because otherwise that'd be massive cannibalism.
That's right.
Massive cannibalism.
It was a hamburger. It was a hamburger. I assume it was made from beef.
The missus,
and wouldn't it be better if the EAS alert sounder was this? That would get my attention.
That'd be good. It's better than any question I had for you. So we're moving along. That's all helter skelter as NYC is getting ready to end the right to shelter. Because of the massive numbers of invaders, illegal aliens swarming over the border like a demented beehive, New York City is thinking about ending their promise that everyone gets a place to stay. Mark, is this why we can't have nice things?
Sure. It is. But frankly, I think the problem is one of square footage. I mean, sure, they're putting these illegals up in these expensive hotels, but have you ever been to New York? I mean, the hotel rooms, even the nice ones, are small. What they really need to do is someplace more spacious for these illegals, and I'm thinking the Hamptons,
or
big, spacious homes,
or Ecuador. The missus, do you think that New York City is getting what they voted for good and hard?
I think so. And again, because they didn't plan for it to happen in their backyard. No, they wanted all those people to go into the little tiny towns in the Midwest with 10,000 people. Here, we'll send 50,000 migrants your way. You can deal with them and spend all your money on them. There's grant money for that, Call back.
Pythagoras was not the first. Babylonians are the worst, with claims that 1,000 years before Pythagoras, Babylonians had worked out trigonometry. Mark, why are ancient people so much stupider than we are? I learned trig as a sophomore in high school.
I still haven't learned it, so I don't have anything to say.
The missus, if pi r squared...
That was my worst subject.
The missus, if pi r squared, does that mean cornbread are round?
Only if you make the muffins. And personally, I prefer square cornbread. It's just demonstrably better.
And Jim Wetzel would prefer we walk like a Babylonian. So I don't know how that is. So the leader of the Haitian version of the Taliban, yes, there is a Taliban chapter in Haiti, has just released the prime minister of Haiti because they know they can. Apparently, the leader of Haiti's Taliban is a guy named Jeff. Mark, does that mean Al Qaeda in Haiti is led by some kid named Jason or Mikhail?
Juan, yeah.
Honestly, back when the War on Terror first started back in the early 2000s, I was looking through, I think it might have been The Economist, I want to say. And there was an ad in the back of The Economist for Director of Public Relations for Al Qaeda.
There you go. But your question is, the missus?
Yeah.
If Jeff is the name of the leader of the Taliban in Haiti, what's the name of the guy who runs their Make Haiti Great Again party?
Mohammed.
It's probably Donald Trump. I mean, the guy's all over the place, and you know he has a lot of energy. So.
I'm sorry, you're both wrong. His name is Steve.
Oh, okay.
I thought his name was Hillary.
Nope, I'm sorry, it's Steve. All right. With that, we are at the end.
That was the all wrong sound.
Yep, the end of Think Real Fast.
Think real fast.
For me, the real pleasure of this episode is knowing the leader of the Taliban in Haiti. His name's Jeff. Mark, what's your high point from this episode?
I like turtles.
And the missus? Up to you.
What's that?
I like turtles.
The high point of the episode for you.
High point of the episode. Oh, wait. Here, I'll play this.
Just gotta get those little legs moving. Come on.
There you go. There's my high point.
There's your high point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, I'd like to thank...
Hello, play.
The one
I hit play, I just missed the button.
Oh, okay. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and playing the home version of our game. Had another wonderful time, and the music is just gone.
No, it's here.
So thank you all for coming. I'm John.
This is Mark.
What is making that noise? Oh, and I'm the missus. Y'all come back now.